It's Tracey and Noelle. They're gonna make you LOL on 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk.
Hello, welcome to 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk. I'm your host, Noelle Winters Herzog. Tracy's still in LA, so this week we are joined again by Miss Shannon Lee.
Hi.
I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm like addicted to this. I'm going to be so sad next week when I can't do this with you guys.
That's okay. Listen, I'm going to Florida in April. Maybe you could even do it again in April.
I would love to.
We'll see. See? Yay. Okay, cool. Did you happen to write the episode number down for this?
I did.
Okay, tell me.
Season 4, episode 7, Drop by Drop, the River Rises.
What the hell does that mean?
No idea. I have no idea.
Drop by drop, the river rises. Like, did we even see a river here? I don't think so.
No, I think they're just making up words now.
Yeah, this was a pretty good episode. Again, a lot happened because a lot of times we get filler episodes. I don't think this was a filler episode. This is pretty good.
This is a good one. And next, I feel like now I keep feeling this way, but I feel like next week I'm also very excited for.
Okay, so watching the coming attractions for next week, it was almost like a mid-season trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's not just for next week, right? They showed us like for the rest of the season.
I think you're right. Is there definitely an episode next week? Because this does feel like
Right.
we're preparing for a break.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know. I was thinking the same exact thing. I'm like, I think we might have a week off.
Yeah, that seems right.
Well, let's start off with Gabe and Isabel. So Gabe is playing basketball and Trey comes to meet him. We've never met Trey before. They met a year ago in Colombia and they both rent apartments in the same building. Gabe heard Trey talking in English and he was like, oh, look, a friend.
I mean, that's how lucky. I get it though. I'd be like, oh, someone I can speak to.
Well, right, because you probably never hear anybody speaking in English and it's like, wait, a friend? I need to meet this person. So they're both from Miami. They're close friends. They hang out all the time. And Gabe tells Trey that he wants to propose soon.
Right.
This is fast.
It is, but also it's like the guy Trey is like, oh, like we talk all the time, we hang out all the time, but he just got back there. So I don't know how true that is.
Right.
And then if that is the case, then is this really your first time ever hearing that he wants to like propose to her? Because obviously he's been thinking about it.
But I also feel like, wouldn't that be his end game? He moved to Colombia.
I have thoughts about that, but later.
Okay. Okay. So Trey thinks that he's jumping in too quickly and he's impulsive. And, you know, I wouldn't agree with that, but I have to agree with that because it seems like Gabe tattoos girls' names on him and is like, will get like really attached to the kid. So I think that he does have a tendency to move fast. That's even what like his family was saying.
That makes sense. But I mean, how long are they together for?
Okay.
Isabel?
I'm not really sure. I don't remember, but I think like a couple of years.
Okay. So I don't think it's too. I mean, everybody is the second they land in the new country is like planning on marrying within 10 seconds. So I
Right.
think at least that they know each other for a couple of years. They spent time together before. I mean, it's not the worst of all the situations.
And also like they seem pretty solid. Like they're
Mhm.
very happy. They're a happy couple. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with him proposing. So Trey says that Isabel is really possessive and that she doesn't like their friendship and she checks on Gabe constantly when they hang out. And it's funny because I didn't take her to be like possessive.
Right. And it's hard to really even gauge if she is that way or is he really just like a scumbag and she is just like picking up on that and is rightfully judging him.
Right. So like is she more not insecure because of Gabe, more insecure because she knows that Trey sucks?
Yeah, and it's like I mean this will like play on through the rest of like their segment here, but I kind of get it because it's like if your boyfriend is hanging out with a single guy all the time
Right.
and you guys are just like going to bars and stuff like that, that's not the ideal situation because guys don't go out on their own to just hang out with guys. They always go to like pick up chicks.
Right. And it'll be like, oh, you could be my wingman, or she has a friend, just keep her friend company.
Right.
It's like
Not ideal.
I don't love that. So Isabel wants to go to El Carmen to visit family, and Gabe wants to ask like her dad for permission to marry her for like her hand in marriage. And then Gabe tells Trey that he is trans, and Trey is shocked. But I thought you guys were like close friends. Not that you have to tell. It's just kind of like, how close are you?
Right. And also he's like kind of shocked, but he's just like, "Oh, get out of here." Anyway.
He's like, I can't believe it. I mean, Gabe plays football.
Also,
Okay.
how little are the people in Colombia that he is like this great football player? He's so little.
He's so little. But also, like, I don't know, maybe I don't really fully understand, but to me, it's like, I don't know, Gabe is a guy.
Mhm.
So why does he have to keep telling everybody that he's
Maybe
trans?
maybe it's because then he can have the conversation about being nervous to let the family know. Maybe.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, Gabe is a running back on the football team. So Trey's like, oh my God. And Gabe is like, well, it never came up, and I don't want people to know my whole life. And Gabe actually didn't even start transitioning until he was 22, and he doesn't want to go back into hiding, which of course.
Mhm.
So Trey says that it's a really like machismo culture, and he's concerned how Isabel's dad will handle it, which valid.
Mhm.
And now at this point, I didn't even realize like we were gonna meet her parents this episode.
Yes, because I feel like we didn't really get a heads up about that beforehand.
Right.
Yeah. I am
Like
excited that we get to meet her family finally.
me too, because I mean, there's never even been a glimpse of her family, nothing.
Right.
So he's just gonna do it and hope for the best. And now Gabe and Isabel are gonna go to a bar and they're gonna meet up with some friends, and she gets a gin and tonic and he gets a margarita.
Yes.
I hate gin. I hate tonic. I hate tonic. I hate tonic.
Me too.
I don't know
I
how anybody drinks it.
I don't understand either. Whenever I make somebody that drink, I always question why, who are you doing this for? Because it's not for you. No one can like
No.
this. And I went to the movie theater. I went with my family to see a movie, and one of the ones where they serve drinks. And
Uh-huh.
my sister got up to like get everybody drinks. They didn't have waitress service. Like we're really slumming it. So she
Oh.
so she got up. And then my sister isn't really a drinker. And I said I would like a vodka club. And she blanked that out of her mind and defaulted to vodka tonic. And I couldn't even make it through a quarter of it. I could not choke it down. It's so gross.
It tastes like poison.
Yes, not something you should put in your mouth.
No, it's gross. And gin itself, I mean, it's like perfume poison you're drinking at that point. It's very, very bad. Okay. So she says that they're going to meet up with friends, and basically this is their place. This is like their date night place. So Isabel stamps it theirs. They kind of don't go there unless they're with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Trey shows up in his Versace shirt,
Yes.
and Isabel's like vomiting at the table.
Yeah, they but also I guess there has to be more to this because apparently it's clear they've met before. So
Right.
maybe there's more to it than her just like they're making it like she just doesn't like the idea of him. I think that there is more of a valid reason.
Something must have happened, or maybe she knew Trey even before Gabe knew Trey. Like something's happening because she's like really mad about him being there.
Right, or maybe like he slept with one of her friends or something and then never called her.
Oh, that actually does make sense. She okay, so I'm not really sure what's happening here. It's a lot of shush, shush, shush. And she's like, tell me what's happening or I'm leaving. And then Gabe's like, nothing. And then Trey's just giggling. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, this is so silly because the first line that we at least see that Trey says is, this is normally our spot. This seems like he's reading from a cue card that somebody is holding behind
Right.
the camera. It
Right.
seems like very forced, but assuming that this is real, what's happening here? If that's the case, that you know that this is your chick's favorite spot, this is where you guys go together, and you know your friend is coming there with you, and you guys go and your girlfriend doesn't know, don't you say to him, "Hey, listen, my girlfriend doesn't know we come here. She'd be mad. Let's not talk about it."
Right. Like they're creating some kind of conflict,
Yes,
obviously.
that's his before he says, "Hi, how are you?" He says, "Oh, isn't this where we normally come?"
Right. This is our
Then
place.
and then for Gabe to be like, "Shh, there is no there's no more obvious bad thing that you can do, especially with her English isn't great. You could have used like
Right.
big words that maybe she won't pick up on quickly instead of a universal sound that everybody knows that you're hiding something.
Right. You're just shushing her. And then you're saying, like, shut up, shut up. And she's like, I also think she didn't really understand because she's like, why the silence?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh no, he's just, trying to talk shit about you and get me in trouble, and I'm not letting him. She gets so mad that I think you're right. Why does she hate him so much? She's like big mad about this.
Yeah. And it could be that something really did happen, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because it does remind me of one of my exes who was like really like a party boy. Like he liked to be out all the time, but most of like he would have like 2 or 3 single friends that I just hated. And just the idea that he was going to go out to a bar with them, I'm like, what is that? This is not what somebody in a relationship should be doing.
Right.
Because you can have drinks at home, you can have drinks somewhere else if you're going to go play pool or darts or whatever. But if you're just going to go to a bar to sit with boys, boys don't just sit and talk. Boys hit on girls.
Well, that is true too. Yeah.
Power up for springtime with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Get nutritious, chef-prepared meals delivered straight to your door, leaving you time and energy to tackle everything on your to-do list. Too busy to cook? With Factor, skip the trip to the grocery store and skip the chopping, the prepping, and the cleaning up too. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy. With 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, there's always something new to try. Enjoy meals for any time of day with breakfast options like egg bites, smoothies, and more. Plus, replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons. Want to cut back on takeout? Get Factor instead. Not only is Factor cheaper than takeout, but meals are ready faster than restaurant delivery in just 2 minutes. Put the time and money that you save towards planning activities for when the weather warms up. We're really looking forward to that. Noelle has been making these for quite a while, and it's just so much easier when her husband's hungry than making an entire meal because he loves these. Eating vegan or veggie is a snap with Factor because each meal is prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, so you know that your Factor meal has all of the ingredients you want and nothing that you don't. And if you're looking to mix it up, you can add a protein to select vegan and veggie meals each week. Get Factor and enjoy clean eating without the hassle. Simply choose your meals, enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. We're both using them. We both love them because it's just so easy and they're so delicious. Head to factormeals.com/90day50 and use code 90day50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code 90day50 at factormeals.com/90day50 to get 50% off your first box.
So Mateo joins them, and Mateo we met earlier because Isabel hung out with him earlier. I think he's so cute. He's so sweet. So he joins them. He's like, I feel the tension right away. What the hell is going on? And Gabe is kind of like, hey, I told Trey that I'm trans. And Isabel's like, he didn't know?
Yeah. Also, though, good job of Trey for changing the subject around, because
yes,
he's going to talk about this forever. He's like, oh, here's a new secreto for everybody.
Yeah, this was just it was just uncomfortable. I'm glad that I was not there. So it turns out Isabel's dad is very religious and conservative and not open-minded at all.
Yeah, which
doesn't sound great.
It doesn't, but also I feel like how could he have not gotten that vibe yet at this point?
Sure. And also, what does the parents think is going to be filming? Like, why are they even filming?
Right. Yeah, I wish they would just like make it a little bit more real and be like, oh, this is what we're telling them is the reason why we're filming. There have been a couple of reality shows where it was some sort of surprise thing and they're like, oh, they think that we're recording because of this. And this is at least they whether that's true or not, at least they pretend. It's like MILF Manor. Have you seen any of that?
No, people are like bugging out in our groups talking about that show.
It's very stupid, and I don't think it's worth it unless you're gonna like do a recap of it. It's not great, but they pretend at the beginning like that the different story that they told the mothers and the sons, which is bullshit.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
right. Like, what are they telling Isabel's parents? What are they telling Rishi's parents? Like, what are they telling everybody's parents is happening here? Because it's just too weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would also like to know that. And then so they also ask, I feel like everybody asks Isabel if her dad gives her an ultimatum, what is she going to do? And I feel like it doesn't look good for Gabe.
Yeah, she's kind of like, I don't really want to upset my parents, and my parents are always right about everyone. It's like, I don't know. It sounds like you might break up with Gabe, actually.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
So, right. She's scared that her parents have always been right about relationships. And But anyway, so they pack up Donatello and they go to El Carmen, which is very funny. I've never seen a turtle in a plastic tub like that, but I mean, I
Cute.
guess
Oh,
that works.
I have one more thing from
Tell
before,
tell
from the
me.
dinner. So, now I don't know who said this, but I put this in quotes, planning on proposing to her on this trip. So maybe it was Gabe just to the camera while they were at the restaurant.
Oh, you're right. Gabe
Yeah.
said I think Gabe said in his confessional that
Mhm.
he is planning on proposing for this trip.
Yeah. So
But he
this
didn't even have a
trip-
ring before.
But also like this trip, everyone's pretending that they're moving to these new countries.
Right.
But
Right.
then what does this trip mean? I thought you just moved here forever.
Right. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it like that.
I don't know.
So, and also before Gabe was like, "Oh, I don't even have a ring yet." And it's like, "So now you have this ring. You didn't even tell her parents that you're trans or ask for their permission to marry her, but you have the ring now."
Right. And who knows how long
Weird.
this trip even is?
Right.
Does it end?
I mean, where do they live? How many miles away? So, she's very nervous and they're talking to Isabel in the car. Yeah, tell me.
I'm sorry. Was it the trip to the parents and not the trip to Colombia? He
So
meant maybe?
I'm thinking he meant the trip to the parents. I just don't know how far the parents live for it to be considered a trip. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
did they just live like in the next neighborhood or did they live 2 hours away?
Yeah, the trip around the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're talking to her in the car and Isabel's very nervous. She's fanning herself. She's like blasting the air conditioner. She's like, I can't do this right now. I'm gonna vomit. So she's scared that her parents will ask her to break up with Gabe. That would suck. Like, what a shit situation to be in.
Agreed. Yes. But I don't know. I also don't know.
know.
I don't know how I would, who knows? Who knows how
Me
we would handle
too.
the situation.
Mhm. Right. Like I might tell my parents like too bad, or I might be like, all right, well, I'm scared of my dad.
But also like she has to have a better idea of how this will go. Like, and I understand maybe they don't want to address these questions because the answer would be terrible, but a question to ask would be like, how does your dad feel about gay people? How does he feel about gay marriage? And then like work up from there. How does he feel about trans people? I mean, like these things must have come up in conversation in her whole life, where she has an idea of where her dad stands, at least on the topic.
Right. Because also Isabel, when we meet her, like when we first met her, she was hanging out with like her gay friends and she says that she would go to gay bars with them and hang out with them. So like this is kind of like been her lifestyle, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that her parents must know her friends.
Right. Yeah, she has to know either way. Either she knows that they're probably it's not gonna be a big deal, or she knows that this is the end of their relationship.
And we don't even get an idea from the coming attractions, like how it's going to go, which also really bothered me.
Yeah, they just stop with like the dad like this, and they only pause there for like 2 seconds. So whatever the answer is, it's coming really quickly.
Right. Which I need to know the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get to the parents' house and they're so nice. They're so excited to see them. The dad even picks Gabe up.
Yes. So I was under the assumption, and this is my own fault, that they had never met before and they're all best friends.
Okay, so I think that I don't know how, but I think I knew that they met, but I didn't know that they were like so close. I thought maybe they met like once or twice in passing, but I didn't know that they were this close. Like they loved Gabe. They were all over him.
Yeah, it was such a warm embrace and reception, like, oh, I missed you so much. It's been so long. And that I feel like makes the whole situation hopefully better because they already know him, the quality of his character.
They already love him, really.
Right.
So they want Isabel and Gabe to sleep separately.
Fair.
They do live together, which is interesting because it's like, I think that you know that they share a bed at home, but I guess in their home, they want to sleep separately. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, I understand that. I feel like maybe the way that they said family here, outsiders there, maybe
Right.
that's necessary.
Maybe that's not the way you say it. Gabe is very anxious because he says that the most people who are mean to him online and like basically talk shit to him like on Instagram are religious people.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah,
Not
I could
understandable on
totally
the
see
side of the
that.
religious people. Just
No, but I could
understandable.
totally see that,
Yeah.
of course. And then they have dinner together and it looked delicious.
It did look great. And it is when the mother asked, and obviously like he's like kissing ass a little bit, but she's like, oh, how is this food versus in Miami? Miami has pretty good Cuban food.
Right.
But like the right answer is, oh, it's garbage there. It's great here.
Right, of course. It's like kiss ass just a little bit.
Also, just like his thing about when he couldn't sleep in the same room as Isabel, and he's like, oh, that's okay because she snores all night. Like he's
Right.
doing a good job with the family.
Yeah, and I think that they really do like it. The kids also seem to really like him a lot too, which is cute. So he tells her parents that he lives there now, that this isn't just a trip, like we live together now, and her parents are over the moon about this.
Yeah. Yeah, because they know like his intentions are pure.
Right. So they know that their relationship is serious now and that it's just going to keep getting more serious. He wants to be with Isabel. Instead of writing forever, I wrote Firebird. So I was very confused for a second. And Isabel tells them that she wants them to be serious, and the kids are very happy about it. Her daughter hugs him and is like, I love him. And it's very sweet. I love this family.
It just it's really setting us all up for heartbreak if this goes bad.
Truly. So Gabe asks her father what kind of qualities they're looking for. And her dad wants someone to love her, value her, and respect her, which is, of course, I think that's what every parent wants.
Yeah. It's a good thing he didn't say born a man.
Right.
Yes, we're okay.
So dad says Gabe is the ideal person for Isabel, which I love hearing that. And then her dad says, have God in your heart. And that's where you're like, oh, he is very religious. He is very religious. But he does say to Gabe, the door to our home is always open for you, which I love that. And I hope that you mean that, sir.
Yeah. It's also like the religious thing. It could be really in any direction. They could be very religious, but not bigoted.
Right.
I guess we'll find out next week.
We'll find out next week. I actually feel like we're going to wind up texting about it anyway.
Yes. Well, I'm in Jamaica.
Oh, that's right. Lucky. Okay. So do you have anything else for Gabe and Isabel?
No, that's it.
All right. Jen and Rishi.
Hmm.
This is another interesting couple. So they're going to go someplace quiet to talk about their issues, but not her apartment.
No. Just in some back alley somewhere.
Right. We're going to go and with something very interesting on his head. Not really sure what he has on his head.
And it looked like a part of a shirt and the rest was cut off because there was like a tag, like indentation.
My thoughts
underneath it.
exactly.
Yes.
I'm
it
like,
wasn't
what
made
does this
for
guy
that.
have on his head? Right. So the wife training confirmed to Jen that she doesn't want to live in a joint family. And she told him that like right afterwards. As soon as they left, he was like, I'm so proud of you. And she's like, this is not for me.
Don't get used to it.
Right. Which I get. And then I wrote, what does he have in his head? She doesn't think that he's compromising on much. And she's given up everything to go there and be with him. I could see that.
Yes, makes sense.
Okay, let's see. It's a very big deal to live separately from the family in Indian culture. Like he can't just be like, I want to move out with Jen. Apparently that's like a super big deal. Like you're supposed to live with, I guess, your in-laws until they die.
Right, but also isn't he the only guy in that household currently? Is that this family? I thought that he was the one that's kind of like the only male left and that he has to really take care of them all.
I'm trying to think because when they went to the house, it was maybe the only other male there was like an uncle, I think.
Okay.
But I think he's like an elder too. I think Rishi's probably the youngest man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So she thinks it's a very bad idea for them to all live together. And he actually then agrees, like, okay, I'll live separately from my family.
I mean, what nonsense. Because it's like all of a sudden, just in this moment, you're willing to take a stand and be a grown up, but you've been hiding this relationship from your family for 2 years. That doesn't make any sense. I feel like admitting that you're in this relationship versus saying I'm going to completely separate myself from the family, it's just so much worse.
He seems to be someone that just says whatever she wants.
Yes, I think so too.
And she really hopes that this is true, but she doesn't know if she believes him. Yeah, no shit, Jen. Is he prepared to say to his family, I don't care what you guys think. I'm going to be with Jen. I'm going to go live with Jen, even if you don't approve of her. And he's like, yes.
No.
No, because if you felt that way, they would already know about her.
Exactly. And it wouldn't have to take her. saying it in a way that like this is a deal breaker.
Yes.
Which I feel like, well, maybe she hasn't actually said it's a deal breaker if you don't tell your family about me like now. Maybe she hasn't really said
Right.
that.
No, I don't think so, because I think that sometimes women get like scared to say that because the guy will be like, all right, well, then we're
Yeah.
not going to work out.
Right.
So he says that she's the only woman that he would risk his family relationship for because he loves her. Again, don't know if I believe that.
And he also hasn't risked anything yet. He hasn't done anything.
Nothing, literally nothing.
He visits her at her apartment once every other day to bring towels. That's it.
And a blanket. So he says, of course, the most famous line, I need some time. I need you to give me some time. And as soon as I'm watching this, I'm like, Shannon said this on the last episode. He was like, I need time. I need you to give me time.
How much more to 2 years?
And she says, I'll give you to the summer. What month is this now?
I don't know. And I'm trying, because with Chris and Jamie, they keep saying the day, the 19th, 20th, 21st, but I feel like they're not saying what the month is.
Oh,
yeah, I'm
good
not
point.
sure where we are.
Right. Like, I'm wondering, like, is this January? Is this May? Like, where are we exactly? So he has to the summer to tell them, and she only has 4 months on her visa. So it's like, okay, I'm just very confused by what everyone's thinking here. So you're moving there, but only on a 4-month visa. You're moving there with only one carry-on bag. Like, what's happening with this moving? Is this apartment just like a long-term Airbnb she's staying in? What is this?
I have no idea. And also, if she did decide, as was planned, to get married during this quote 4-month visa, then do you just get to stay? Or is it then that you have to file the paperwork and cross your fingers that it goes through before the 4 months is up? Because if that's the case, shouldn't you be like on top of that a little bit more from the beginning? Because as of right now, she seems to not even know if she wants to marry him or not.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you just get to stay.
Right.
I think you still have to file paperwork.
Yeah,
file. Yeah, you have to file paperwork.
But yeah, Jenny had to go back and forth so many times, unless she had just like the most difficult process ever.
Right. And she would like leave the country and then come back. She would go to the US and come back. And then Smee didn't have a passport. It's just so weird. So she has to leave the country in a week because she only has a 4-month tourist visa, and you have to leave so did she say she has to leave every 30 days and come back?
I did write that. I wrote go back.
Me too.
30 days. But so if this is a 4-month visa, has
Right.
4 months passed?
I think that she has, I guess, 1 week left of 4 months. It has to be. Or does she, or she has to leave every 30 days. So has it been 23 days?
Right. That seems more likely because nothing has nothing has happened. Like they spent 1 day where they went to wife training and 1 day flying kites, and that's it. There's like 2 days she's been there.
I think that she's been there just for 20 something days. I don't think she's been there for 4 months yet. I think that she thinks that she has to go back and forth every month for 4 months, and that's when her visa's up.
Okay.
So she's going to go meet with a lawyer and see if she can go to a country that's nearby instead of having to travel all the way to the US, which totally get that. I would too.
Yep.
The lawyer looks at her visa and then asks, okay, well, are you getting married? And she tells them, I don't know. He doesn't want to tell his family yet. Like, I'm glad that you're telling the lawyers everything about you.
The lawyer hates her.
He hates her. He hates her. He's like, this is a dumb American.
And it's like, you can't even really defend this behavior, though. When he says, like, this is crazy American behavior, it's like, I mean, it's not the best.
It's not great.
Yeah, she doesn't know what's happening. And then also, so I didn't want to say this like before, but what you were saying about the 4 month and then going back 30 days, what I'm wondering is it a completely different thing aside from the multiple entry than what she originally thought? So if she thought it was a 4-month visa, is it actually not a 4-month visa? You know, like, is it a different type of visa completely where the time frame that she can stay there is also different?
I guess, like, I don't know don't you apply for a visa and then get the visa you applied for? Like, what got lost in translation here? What exactly did you apply for? Were you just given something wrong?
I have no idea. And also, it appears that on the visa, on the card itself, just says one entry. So it's just right there. It's
She
not
didn't even
like,
read it.
no, it's not like hidden in paperwork somewhere.
Right. Like he's just looking at it. He goes, one entry. It's like, hello?
Yeah, he's like, you read English, right? You see this? Okay.
Oh my God. So it's a single entry visa and it's invalid when she leaves. That's it. You cannot come back in. And she's like, oh.
And she's like, oh, but I don't want to leave. I just left for 2 years. He's like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I can't like change it because you
Right.
don't like it.
So when she was there 2 years ago and she was living there, what kind of visa did you have then?
And how long did she stay then?
Right. I mean, long enough to have her 8 a.m. trainer.
Right. And fall in love.
Right. I wish that we could know a little more. I have a lot of questions. So he thinks this is crazy American behavior. You're right. And the safest option for her is to go back to the US and then reapply.
Yeah, he's like, could you just not be in my country, please? Thank you.
Yeah, like we don't need you here. So she now is like, if anything that's meant to be, it shouldn't be this hard. You could have thought about this before.
Yeah. First, this isn't anybody else's fault, but your own.
Right.
It's not the universe doing it to you. It's you didn't pay attention to what you were doing. And on the flip side, though, I think that is the opposite of being true. I think that
Yes.
things that are easy are never really good.
Yes.
Like eating junk food versus healthy food. The easy thing is usually not the good thing for you. So that was a really dumb thing that she said.
And
Crazy
she
America.
leaves crying.
Yeah, because she also was probably feels so stupid that she made such a
I
dumb mistake.
mean, I would feel pretty damn stupid too if I was her. Yes, you did a very stupid thing, Jen. You did not read. You didn't read your visa. You got it and didn't read it. That's crazy behavior.
Yeah, she probably just like went online to do the whole thing and was just like click, 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 and then just
Right.
saved it. Which I guess I can understand, but not something like this. Like this is important.
Right. Like I don't read something like after I like pay a parking ticket, I don't read it.
Yes.
So the next day, her and Reese are together and they go get some street chai. And she's mad that she didn't look over her visa with a fine-tooth comb. Yes, totally get it. And she tells him about the meeting with the lawyer and she tells him it's a single entry visa and that she feels like an idiot because of COVID and the law that she has to go to the US for who knows how long.
Maybe this isn't that important, but why did we choose this setting for this very serious, important conversation?
They don't do anything at home.
But they're standing in the like the most busy street. It's like they're
Right.
sitting in Times Square and then just standing up, sipping tea with horns beeping every like eighth of a second in the background. You wanted to have the quiet place for the conversation the other day, but this you're just like, I mean, wherever we can stand on a corner somewhere. It's so
Right.
weird.
It is so weird because it's like go back to the back alley, go back to the apartment, go back somewhere, go back to the roof.
Yeah, yes, anywhere. But
So
I do
Well-
feel like he reacts with maybe genuine emotion to this.
I have to tell you, watching this and watching him cry and then watching her cry, even if she's dumb, I felt bad for them because they were obviously both genuinely upset about it.
Yes, I do feel that way. And they kissed in public.
They did kiss in public. And I mean, here's what I don't understand. She says that she's going to go back home and she has to face her friends and her family and the pressure from them. And she might not be motivated to come back. Weird choice of words, honey.
Yes, also when he's like, so, when you go back home, would you maybe not come back? It's just like the way that she's choosing to answer these questions, I feel like is like catastrophizing it. Like making
Yes.
it a bigger deal than it is. It's just like, oh no, I probably will come back. I just don't know how long, but I'll definitely come back because I love you and want to be with you forever. That should have been the answer instead of like,
Right.
probably, maybe not ever.
But I
coming
don't know if I'll be motivated. It's like, what? You don't know if you'll be motivated to see the guy you love?
back. Insane.
So she says that there's a lot that they need to work out, and he cries, she cries. They feel that it should be easier. Long distance relationship was nearly impossible, and his family may pressure him into an arranged marriage while she's gone. Well, then that's not the right relationship for you.
Right. I mean, like he was talking a big game earlier about standing up to his family, no
Right.
joint thing, yada yada. So it's like that's all it's on him right now, really, regardless of
Right.
whether he stays or not.
Trust him. Or don't. Then
No.
don't be with him.
Yes.
Right.
Probably don't trust him and don't be with him.
I just find it so ridiculous, and it's hard to believe that she didn't read that visa. It just is. It's just a strange, strange situation.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be like an out of sight, out of mind thing.
Sure. So do I.
Yeah. Where if she goes, then he's like on to the next one, I think.
I hope not, but I think that you're right. Oussama and Debbie.
Oh, just with the coming
Oh,
attractions
yeah.
for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tell me.
Where he's talking to his, I'm assuming his parents, and they're like, "Well,
Yes.
how old is she?" And he's like, he's like counting in his mind for a few seconds, and then says 48. But it seems like he's finally going to tell his parents about her.
I didn't realize that she was 48. I
I
didn't
think she-
realize there was that much of an age difference between them because he's like 32.
Right? Yeah, yeah. No, she looks really good for 40. I think it was 48 that he
It was
said.
48. Yeah,
Yeah.
he said 48. And I was shocked because I didn't realize there was that much of an age difference between them. And also, like, she looks great.
She does, and because then obviously, I guess the thing is going to be the fertility issue. And she doesn't have kids, right? She doesn't have kids.
No.
So, I mean, at 48, it's not impossible to attempt a round or two of IVF.
It's just not like, I guess, ideal. But
Yeah.
right, it's not impossible.
It's no Angela.
But have they spoken about kids? I don't even know.
No, I don't think so. I'm just saying, like, the family, like, that's going to be that's always what they feel about the older
You know
women.
it.
They can't have kids. So,
Right,
even
but
though-
leave it up to mom and dad.
right. But maybe they're tricking us, and maybe he's not admitting to them being in a relationship because all we see is them saying, "How old is she?" And then he is like, 48. And then that's all we see.
Right. So maybe he's just saying hypothetically.
Yeah. Or how's your friend Jen doing? How old is she?
Oh, yeah, Jen. Oh, she's 48.
Yeah.
Who else do you have lined up for me, Mom? Okay, so now we'll move on to Oussama and Debbie. She just arrived in Morocco and she feels at home. She feels safe, secure, happy, and she's young again. The future is for them.
I like Debbie.
So do I.
I, however, feel like Oussama just got off of a shift of working as a scarecrow on his farm.
Stop it.
He looks like a scarecrow. His hat, his shirt, his face. I mean, he's missed his calling.
I know. When you said that he had too many and not enough teeth, I never stopped thinking about that.
There's no other way to explain it.
Oh my God. This guy was so funny. He just got up to shift. Oh man. Okay. So we're now you distracted me. Okay.
What's
She feels like she's at home, blah, 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 blah. So there's 2 cows and a baby cow on his farm, and she's gonna be farmer Debbie. Why can't I talk? They're gonna stay a couple of days in the capital and then go an hour or so away and be with his mom and dad, get married, and go back to the capital.
Yeah, makes sense. All adds
Okay.
up.
No, that sounds like exactly what's going to happen. She wants to know his expectations of her, and he wants her to be half Moroccan, not full, just half. And he wants her to clean and like cook for him, wash his clothes, do all the stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
she's trying.
She's
like, "I'll
trying.
try
She
to
says
cook."
that cooking will be a struggle.
Yeah. But I like that he's at least right now saying when she's like, "Oh, we can get takeout sometimes," and he's like, "Oh yeah, of course." I don't know that I believe him. I think he's full
Where are
of
you
it.
getting takeout? Don't you guys live on a farm in the middle of nowhere?
That's a good point.
And then she's like, well, we can get takeout and we can have our wine. And he's like, well, we can't have it in the house because then the angels are going to leave. I did not know that that was a thing.
Me either. I really thought that within this religion, like you just couldn't drink ever.
I didn't know it just wasn't at home.
Yes, which is not. I mean, that's not terrible.
No, not at all. So you can go out to eat. You can go to a restaurant and you can have some wine. You just can't have it in your house. Okay.
Yeah,
He
that's
says
not
he
bad.
respects his parents and he doesn't want to bring the devil in the house, basically.
I mean, you can't blame him for not wanting to bring the devil in the house.
You know what? I actually don't blame him. So he wasn't telling her this stuff though about being a Moroccan woman beforehand. So I guess this is all news to her. Which that's weird. Where did this come from?
I don't understand this method. I don't understand.
The waiting?
Yes, like the lying until the women get there, because then what is like your end goal in that? You know, it's like, why not at
Right.
least warm them up to it beforehand? Then you don't have to do all this trickery and lying and nonsense. I don't understand the trapping part.
Don't just assume that they know what they're in for. It's how it's going to be. These women are all from America. They have no idea.
I think they know that though, because
Right.
as like coming up, he's basically just like, oh yeah, I of course I didn't tell you because then you wouldn't come. And then
Well, that's true,
yeah, so it's like it's intentionally holding back the information.
which is a lie.
Right.
So they go to the House of Flowers and they are going to sleep. So I've never actually seen a setup like this where it's living quarters and then like just these little rooms just with beds in them.
Yeah, it is very pretty.
It is pretty.
But she says she's basically basing her new reality on this hotel. She's like, "Oh, this is gonna be my new
Right.
reality." No, this is a hotel.
Right. This is actually not your reality at all. And she asks him to get the bags and he smashes his scarecrow head. Smashes his head. But then they laugh. So I'm like, okay, you know, I guess they do get along pretty well. It's kind of cute. Okay, I have to go to my next page. Sorry, because of my notes. Okay. So she puts on her best lion choker and she wants to talk to him about their future. So at first I thought they were going to a restaurant. They weren't.
Right. Lion choker and her princess dress.
Right.
What about this? This is like a tie-dye sheet
Mm-hmm.
with like
Yeah,
a whole
a
cutout.
moo. Uh-huh.
What's the princess part? Is it the mounted lion head on her chest? Is that what does it?
It does not seem very princessy to me.
No, me either. Not very royal.
I do like her though. I think she's very silly and fun,
Yeah.
which I do like a lot about her. Like she's definitely like a young soul.
Yeah.
So she wants to talk to him about their future. And he says that you could stay as long as you want at my parents' house. And she says, like, I don't want to impose. You guys didn't talk about this before?
This is like it also feels like she's also just finding out that they're going to his parents' house so soon.
Right. But like, what did you think would happen? It's just so weird to me. So she doesn't want to impose. She wants a time frame and she wants to be able to look at apartments. And he says, well, we have to save money. And after a month or two, you're going to go back to the US anyway.
What is happening?
Excuse me?
Also, his tone of he turned into like serial killer here, because before I feel like he seems like a little maybe as you guys would call it, slow to process.
Yeah. Yes.
He seems like that, but now he seems like serial killer. Like his tone of voice and how he's saying it, he's like, well, yeah, obviously you're not gonna stay, even though you can stay at my parents' house for forever. Who cares? Stay there forever, but you
Right.
can't stay here with me for longer than 2 months.
Here's the thing. I can understand, I guess, like what he's trying to say. But again, why are you waiting to say all of this?
Yeah. And so the way he keeps saying this thing, and I feel like it's a poor choice of words, but maybe this is a translation issue where he keeps saying like, oh, because we have to live in reality. We haven't been living in reality.
Right. And she keeps saying like, so I have to leave after a month. And he goes, yep. Yep.
Yeah, should I repeat it one more time? You heard me correctly. But so it makes sense that if I don't know how much time they spent together the first time they were around each other, but this whole time, if it's just communicating online, you want to see how things go in person a little bit, understandable. But like we said before, he is purposefully being deceptive in this.
Yes.
He took this information from her because he said you wouldn't come here, and that's just like that's so messed up.
Well, he thinks that they should keep getting to know each other because we only know each other through social media. And she feels sick. She's like, fuck this guy. I'm feeling really sick. And she's mad that he wasn't up front. And she doesn't know who this Oussama is. Like, who is this guy? He's a stranger. Okay. She moved mountains and hurt her kids to get there. Okay. Well, maybe you shouldn't have.
Right. And then also, though, hold on. Wait, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. It's okay. I know it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yes. It was something about the moving. No, I'll just go to the next thing then.
Okay.
It's a good thing in this moment. I feel like that Julian, is that her son's name?
Julian. Yep.
Yeah. It's a good thing right now that he didn't go, because I feel like he would have murdered Oussama in this moment.
Oh, he would have choke slammed him by now. Uh-huh.
And then so despite the fact that they don't, I guess, know each other very well, he's like, no, but I still want to marry you. So I
Do
love you. I love you. I want to marry you, but still, I'm gonna need some space after 2 months.
Right. And even before they met up with each other, he was like, I have to tell Debbie I'm not ready to get married yet. It's like, okay, so what is it? You want to be with her for a couple of months to get to know each other, to see if you're even compatible? Or do you want to be with each other, have her go home, and then have her come back and get married? What's your plan?
Right. Because instead of being like, we'll probably get married, but let's see how it goes. That
Right.
is also, again, that makes sense. But saying stay 2 months, then leave.
Right.
But what if everything goes perfectly? Then you still want to
So
get
why
rid of
does she
her?
have to leave? Right.
I don't understand.
And she's feeling sick and she doesn't believe anything he says anymore. And he's like, but I still love you. Like nothing about how I feel about you has changed. And she's like, why is it before he was rushing me to the embassy? He would have gotten married. None of this was brought up. He was rushing to do all this paperwork and now everything's changed. That's interesting.
Maybe he is trying to manipulate it so they can go back to the US. Because if she stays
Interesting.
there, then he's stuck there. But if he's like, oh, we'll ship you out after 2 months, and then once they get to that point, maybe he's like, oh, maybe let's work on the visa to get me to go over there. Because then maybe that would be why he's rushing the first time. Maybe he just wants to come to the U. I don't know. I don't know what his end game is.
Me neither. And he's just not clear. And that drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And she says a man's word is supposed to mean something. She's right.
It's supposed to, but when does it?
It never does.
No.
Honestly, it never does, guys.
And these coming attractions, it's like after this huge fight where it appears that she is like, I'm done. You lied to me. I'm out.
Right.
And they're riding a camel and they're having a great time.
Sorry, everything just dropped in my corner just
Oh.
now. None of these people ever stick to their word. And that's my problem here. It's like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. You're not. You're lying. You're lying. Do you have anything else about Oussama and Debbie?
Nope.
Okay, me neither. Chris and Jamie don't have a lot on them though. And I know that you don't either.
I have no words. I just have Jamie and Chris and nothing under it.
Yeah, there isn't much. They're basically Chris is in bed and Jamie brings her water and candy. Very interesting. And the shot didn't work. And I think the shot didn't work because she got a muscle relaxer and that is not an opiate. And I think she's withdrawing.
That's interesting. So, okay, let's work through that then for a second.
Okay.
Because what I assume, I feel like they maybe said what the shot was, but I can only assume it's got to be like a cortisol shot or something, and that the medicine and then he gave her a prescription for the muscle relaxers. So those
Right.
two things. I have never myself had a cortisone shot. Cortisone.
I think it's cortisone. Yeah.
Okay. But I have family members that have, and it takes like a few hours, and then it kicks in, and then
Right.
it's for like 3 months or something.
Right.
So, but if like a couple of hours have passed and it's not working and she is still in agony, if we are to believe this, don't you maybe call the doctor back and be like, hey, nothing is working and she's still like in this blinding pain?
Right. She needs painkillers.
Right. And so if that's the case, if it's the painkillers that she needs, is that not what she bought when they went to just like the regular pharmacy off the street? And if that was what she was pushing for, when the doctor said, I'm going to give you muscle relaxants in a shot, why wasn't she like, look, this is what I normally take and this is what helps me or whatever nonsense?
I just feel like she got her painkillers and then she took them all. And then now this is happening and she's trying to get more. I don't really know, but I almost feel like she involved the doctor to almost like sell it to Jamie. Like, look, it's serious. I'm so sick. I need the doctor to come here.
And then with the hopes that she will get her more of the drugs that she wants.
Or just to be like, I guess so she could be an outward drug addict. Like, look, I have to take all these pills because you've seen what happens when I don't take them. You see how much pain I'm in. Even the doctor knows that I'm in pain. We've had a doctor come to the house. It's real.
So do you think she's faking this like whole spell?
I think that she's definitely being a little overly dramatic about it because even the ways that she was like laying, I was reading all over Reddit and people are like, I have a very similar injury to her, this, that, this. You could never lay like that. You just couldn't.
Yeah, the picture that you posted from last week's
Yes.
episode, just like, well, like it's like, yeah, that would hurt my neck too.
Right, like you're cranked against the wall. My neck would fall off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Jamie is going to go out with her friends Alex and Leo, and they were supposed to meet Chris today, but Chris is going to stay home, and she's like, I'll just text you if I need anything. And Jamie goes out with her friends. Jamie looks like shit. She's definitely stressed out. And they're her only friends where she is too, which is pretty sad. I didn't know that. But she tells them that Chris had 4 car accidents.
Is that right? I remember 2.
We were told 2.
Yeah, one right after the other.
She told them 4.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm like, what's happening? I even wrote, Chris had 4 car accidents, ! Because that's not true. She said 2. And I want to know more about this.
Maybe these are like previous ones that don't like result in these current injuries.
Right. Like maybe she just had other accidents too. She shouldn't be allowed to drive then. So the plane was too much, walking was too much, driving was too much for her. That has to be it. And Jamie is frustrated and hopeless. When she first arrived, Chris was amazing and she was euphoric, and now she's just laying in bed. Okay, yeah.
This has just been one day though. Like this is the same day because they're both wearing their complete denim outfits. They're both still wearing them.
Oh man, what is that? Canadian tuxedo?
Yeah. Yes. They're both wearing like different versions of the same.
They really are. That's so funny. So her friends are going to do their wedding day makeup. And her friends actually thought that Chris didn't even come to Colombia because she had cold feet. So, because apparently this is something that Chris does. And she tells them about their rare motorcycle and that they might have to change the wedding date. And they think it's weird. They think that she fabricated the story because she regrets going to Colombia in general.
Right. And I understand because like if this were my friend and it's somebody that had ghosted them for a month in the past, I feel like that's something everybody would jump to.
Sure.
But why does nobody suggest just moving the wedding day up one day?
No, you're so right though.
I don't understand it. Because that's a way to test her. It'd be like, oh, if you do want to marry me, then we'll just do it 1 or 2 days before. No,
right.
No,
I don't know. It's so weird. And you saw the coming attractions, right?
Yes. So they get married.
Right. So they get married.
No big deal. Everything is great.
But then you see what happens. They wind up talking on Skype or on Zoom. And Jamie's like, this is the first time I've seen your face in a month.
Yeah. So both things happen. They get married and she goes to her.
Right. So she goes for her rare motorcycle and I guess stays. So Chris on social media the other day, I usually don't cross over like this, but on her social media, she was posting pictures of her and her son. She was in Alabama, I think she's from, and she was there. So I don't know.
Maybe she wasn't able to get the actual drugs that she needed in Colombia. And when she came back here, she just got her regular prescription and was like, oh yeah, this is how I like to feel. And just decided to stay home. No, but that's because even if that's the case, because then she would have to put distance between herself and Jamie to end it so she doesn't have to go back there.
Or she had to come here because she's actually in trouble with that court case and she's just not telling Jamie that.
Or she got awarded the $50K and was like, I am all set. I'm good.
Bike it and party.
On the rare motorcycle.
Oh my God, the rare motorcycle. So that's all I have for them. I really didn't have very much.
Yeah, I have nothing.
All right. Well, our favorite couple, your favorite couple. I just lost it. Sorry. Nicole and Mahmoud.
I'm over it. I don't think I can watch their segments anymore after this week.
Okay, me neither. I don't know what just happened. All of my notes for them are gone. I'm not really sure. So you I think, oh my God, I think I deleted my notes by mistake because it was in 2 pieces. So you're actually going to have to steer me on this.
Is it like on the computer? Can you just do like a Control Z or you printed them?
No, I didn't print them. It's in my phone.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, because I had 2 of them and I deleted one of my emails. I'll try to get it back. I can't believe I just did that on air. Guys, this is real life. Only Nicole and Mahmoud. Or her dad says Mahmoud.
The first thing I have is he apologizes. That's
right,
because like he did the breakup before or whatever, but literally nothing is resolved because they start to argue again, and then he's like, "Please, I just don't want to argue," and then they now have to go to their uncle's house. So it's just like they're never resolving this issue. They just want to sweep it under the rug, and then it just comes up again in 5 more minutes.
Well,
It's like
that's the thing. He doesn't ever want to argue either. He's the type of guy that, like, if you raise your voice even 1 octave, he's like, you're flipping out. You're a hysterical woman. I can't talk to you when you're like this.
But also, like, she sucks in their arguments, like with last week, where she was like, yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Like, there's not, they don't
Yes.
belong together. I don't know why this is happening. Why are you doing this to us?
This is
viewer?
forced.
It's terrible.
Yeah, this is too much. Actually, you have to see this the clip that Nikki Clips made for us with me and you from last week. I'm going to be posting it this week. And
Okay.
it's the same thing. Mahmoud and Nicole back and forth. Yes, no, you said this. You said this. It's the same thing. Because that's all they do.
So stupid. And I mean, he is like, I don't know how old he is, but like his maturity level is not up there.
Yes.
Like he acts like a 13-year-old or something.
Right.
But he's like cute and fun. She is just like a wet napkin.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like she's never cracked a smile. She's never fun. She's never silly. Like, he's at least fun. And he's like, I love you. And she's like, yeah, I love you too. Like, she's just never nice, kind of. And like, even when they were served those potato chips in the middle of the floor, she wasn't like, oh yeah, I would love a chip. She would just like, I guess I'll have a chip. What?
Also, like, I mean, how starved for people to be on this show are the producers of 90 Day Fiance that they were like, I mean, I guess we need them, because who else are we gonna, like, they have nobody else.
Well, I mean, she is a robot. I need to watch her. Like, I feel bad for him because you can never win an argument with her. She doesn't understand that, like, his culture and his religion, like, that's just who he is. And she can't understand that they're like, you know what I mean? Like, locked into each other.
I do feel bad for her at one moment, but I'm gonna save it
Okay.
for the end of it.
Okay.
The next thing I have is, so they go to the uncle's house, and she's showing designs to his uncle, and he's on board.
Okay. They really like the stuff.
Yep. And then, you know, she explains the reason why, and they're like, yeah, this is great for Muslim people, except there's no headscarves. And the issue I have here is that Mahmoud.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the little emphasis on the H, and it's not working.
No.
Mood. He doesn't translate the whole thing unless they're not showing us that part.
Right.
But when he then says it to her, he's like, oh, they're talking about you. Why aren't you wearing the scarf? Instead of being like, oh, they're saying the one thing missing about these things, maybe you can add it to the designs. and make something
Yes.
you would like to wear something light and more comfortable. He's just like, they want to know why you're not wearing the scarf.
Well, that's the thing. If I was her and I was going through all of this to make conservative clothing and stuff that my husband would like, why wouldn't I make my own take on a scarf
Right.
for what I wanted to wear?
Especially, this has started every fight for the past, like, once every hour that you argue about not covering your head. I mean, can we just resolve this issue?
This is her trigger.
It's my trigger.
Yeah. No,
It's
she
so
can't take
annoying.
it. She's like, hair? I will never cover my hair. But yeah, everyone likes it. Everyone's pretty nice to her too. This went much nicer than I thought it would.
Yes, and his dad, I like him. He makes sense in what he's saying.
Oh, his uncle.
Well, I think the dad, isn't the dad there also? The dad and the uncle?
Oh, is the dad there? Because I know that he said that, like, his parents got divorced when he was younger, so the uncle was like his dad.
Because
So
the
I don't
guy-
know.
I don't know, but there was a guy that was holding the papers.
That's a
was
cousin, right?
Oh,
There's two
okay.
cousins.
Got it. Okay, so maybe it is the uncle then.
I'm not sure who the two women were. I think one was a grandmother.
Yeah.
And then one was maybe an aunt.
Maybe, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Don't
Yeah.
have it. But his dad says that if she hadn't converted to Islam, they would have never bothered her about anything.
Well, so that's the crazy part. So if she would have stayed a Christian, this wouldn't even be a conversation, because Christian women don't have to cover their hair. They don't have to dress conservatively. Why did she convert? Why?
And from her own mouth, he didn't force her. This isn't something that he
Right.
put upon her. She's just like, no, I'm all set. I'll do it, without doing a single piece of research. She had no idea what they believed in,
Right.
what the rules were, nothing. She's just like, yep, I'm going to do this. And now has no idea about anything, because as they're having this conversation, they're also talking about how he has to teach her how to pray, and she's like, oh, I don't know how
Right.
you have to teach me. Isn't this like the bare bones of any religion, is the prayer
Right.
portion? So you don't even know that part.
But again, like you can't Google this. You have been together for a while now. If you really converted and you're really taking it seriously, you can't figure out how to pray.
No, and it's like I wonder like what it was that she even had to do to convert, because she
Yes.
keeps saying, "Oh, I'm questioning my faith." What is your faith? Tell me what it
She
is.
doesn't know her faith.
She has
Right.
no
She
idea.
has no idea what goes into being a Christian or Muslim, I guess.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She's so confused by the whole thing, and it's like, so she is the problem
She
in
is the
this.
problem.
I feel
Mhm.
like he's doing the best he can to maintain his patience, but it's like, look, like you chose this, and
Right.
if you're not going to do the thing, I'm going to keep getting shit from my parents and everybody else. Like, just do what you're supposed to do.
And obviously, it means a lot to him too, because that's how he was raised. And there are so many people that I'm seeing online that are like the 90-day groups and on Reddit and stuff. They're all like totally siding with her and that she should do what she wants to do and he can't force it upon her, this, that, and this antiquated way to look at things. And it's like, no, 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 no. But this is just how it goes there. Have some respect, you know? That's just,
Yes. And it's also the religion she
yes,
chose. She
right.
chose to do she chose to do it. It's like
Yep.
moving to Africa and then being like, oh, it's hot. I didn't realize it was gonna be hot here.
Right. It's like you chose this.
Yes, there's
Uh-huh. Yeah. So that is what frustrates me about her. I think that he has no idea how to communicate a lot of things to her. And he kind of just wants to, like you said, sweep things under the rug. They're not meant to be.
I don't know how long they can both tolerate going through this.
And like his mom is there and they argue and she says like snide things in front of his family. She's very rude.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't. Oh, I was gonna say if you have more stuff about
I
it. That's
don't
what
have
you
anything. I don't. I'm following the leader here. But what happened? Is there anything in the coming attractions with them?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
tell
there is.
me.
So, what I wrote was, if I hear clothes or the word wear one more time, I can't watch this again, because that's what it's about again. She's complaining about the clothes again, and they have an argument about her covering her hair. But
Mhm.
then she says, now I realize like the extent of the modesty that there is, and they show an image of her in a swimsuit, and that was wow.
Again, I saw somebody made on Reddit. I'm going to send it to you. It's a fake Sports Illustrated cover, and she's on it. Like, you know how they have the girls in the swimsuit, and she's just
Yeah.
on it standing there like this. It's so funny.
But this is like, again, I know she signed up for it, but this one like it touches my heart a little bit, because her like sad droop face in that swimsuit it's so funny, but I feel so bad for her.
She had no idea.
And she's covered from head to toe. It's like she's gonna go scuba diving, and you have to go
Yes.
lay on the beach in that.
Yes. I wouldn't go. I would just be like, you know what? I'm probably going to tap out at the beach.
Yeah, you're gonna suffocate.
What is the point of going to the beach anyway?
And how do the women live through? How do you live through
I don't
that?
know. I don't know. I can't do it. You're right, because I forgot about that part of the coming attraction.
I don't know how you
And
can forget that.
but what is the point? I don't know the point of going to the beach or the pool. I would just be like, you know, I could live without this.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't.
just like not gonna.
You're not gonna even feel a drop of water on your skin.
Right. You're gonna have a circle tan.
Maybe that helps then to cover everything later, because you're just always hiding your tan lines.
Well, that's true. I can't wait to see what happens next week.
I am excited.
Shannon, do you have anything else for me?
I don't. That's all I have.
That was so fun. This was
It
great.
fun. Yes. Oh, I'm so sad about next week. You guys are definitely gonna both hear from me.
I'm definitely going to hear from you. If you find out if there is another episode or not another episode, let me know, because I don't even have cable to scroll through anymore. I just have streaming.
I do also. I also just canceled my cable,
Oh.
but I'll just like Google it and see if we can find the next like release date, and I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, you can follow us on TikTok at Trash Talk Podcast, Instagram 90 Day Podcast, patreon.com/trash talk podcast for all of our bonus content, and follow me, your host, Noegirl_. You can follow Tracey at Tracey Tuzini. You can go look for all of her upcoming shows at tracycarnazzo.com. Shannon, where can we find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at ShannonLee6982 and listen to my podcast, The Thing Is, Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. And I really like almost all of my listener base is dudes.
Okay.
I want more women listening to the show. So ladies that listen to the show, please come over and give my show a try. It's really fun. And we talk about bad date stories. We have lots of fun guests on, like comedians. There's some reality TV stars, musicians, like lots of fun guests. And they tell their own stories about their worst date experience, times they got into street fights, and experiences with the paranormal. It's fun and silly.
Well,
Listen.
before earlier, when you were setting up, I got a voice note from my friend, and he's like, "I'm listening to The Thing Is right now." And he's like, "Wow, my brain is exploding." He's like, "Shannon needs female followers. We have to get her female followers." So it's getting out there. It's spreading.
Amazing. Please. And tell your friend thank you so much.
Oh, I will. Yeah, guys, follow Shannon. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing
and
with your life?
You can listen wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, or you can watch on YouTube, wherever. Thank you.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, bye. Why can't I stop the recording?
Oh,